is the year 2000X. A super robot named Mega Man was created by Dr. Light. Mega Man is used to stop the evil forces of Dr. Wily with his 6 Robot Masters. After defeating the 6 Robot Masters, Mega Man fights Dr. Wily and put an end to his evil scheme. But it's not over yet. Dr. Wily is still ready to return again with 8 more of his Robot Masters. So now, the adventure continues. One down, 8 more to go. So, I already reviewed the first Mega Man game in my last review. Now, it's time to review the second game out of the series, which is, of course, Mega Man 2. And it is a very good sequel to the first Mega Man game, and my personal favorite out of the series, too. So, I cannot wait to start reviewing this game. So, enough introduction stuff. Let's just play Mega Man 2. So what can I say about Mega Man 2? It is one of the most awesome games ever. It is filled with more difficulty, challenging levels, superb soundtrack, brilliant gameplay, and a whole lot of other elements that would blow you away! But enough being dramatic about it. Let's just go in depth on the gameplay. The basic gameplay elements is pretty much the same as the first Mega Man game. You know, just the same usage of platforming and shooting. So, what exactly makes this better than the first Mega Man game? Well, the overall stages that you play in are more difficult than how you play them in the first game. There's more obstacles along the way, and some of the enemies in the levels takes more hits than any of the other enemies in the first Mega Man game. One thing about this game that they did improve on is the amount of levels that you go through. Looking back at the first Mega Man game, there was only 6 Robot Masters that you fight. But here, they decided to expand on the variety, and this time around, we have 8 Robot Masters instead of 6. Now that's a pretty good improvement, I would say. I really like the artwork on each of the enemies that they used on there as well. Very well detailed, and that brings me to my next point of the game, the graphics. And one thing that I can say about it, beautiful. Just freaking beautiful. Everything about this game looks really colorful for an NES game, especially the backgrounds for each of the levels. The first Mega Man game had some cool backgrounds too, but the backgrounds in Mega Man 2 are even better, like the Waterfall and Bubble Man stage. Just look at how well animated it looks by having it go down the screen. It looks really fluid, especially for an NES game. Now let's compare that with the waterfall used in Super Mario Bros. 2. Well, it looks nice here, although looking at it, kinda looks like a bunch of lines dropping down the screen. In Mega Man 2, however, the waterfall looks absolutely breathtaking. So, once you beat all 8 of the Robot Masters, and then you go to Dr. Wily, and for the first time, you would see Dr. Wily's castle in a Mega Man game. Again, very well detailed. So now, it's time to bring up to my next point, the music. The soundtrack in this game has gotta be the best soundtrack that I've ever heard in an NES game. Really, just listen to it. I could just listen to this soundtrack over any type of orchestrated soundtrack any day. It's especially nice when you're approaching the Robot Master. Now that sounds frickin' epic. But the best music in this game has to be where you first go through Dr. Wily's castle. The music to this level kicks so much butt, I just don't know how to describe it. It perfectly fits to what you're trying to do right now. Search for Dr. Wily and defeat him. Yeah! Now, to check out some of the new items that Mega Man is equipped with in this game. One thing that you get that's first introduced in Mega Man 2 is the energy tanks. you use it to refill your energy throughout the level. Sometimes it's good when all the weapons that you use is weak against your enemy, and so you can use your energy tank to refill. Personally, I save some for when I'm fighting against Dr. Wily. Now, for the weapons. Well, they have a lot of pretty good weapons in this game. One of my personal favorites includes Metal Man's Blade. Now that can really slice and dice. There's also your bubble weapon, your air weapon, which can blow out these sets of whirlwind. But another thing I should mention when you get your weapons is the 3 items that Dr. Light gives you after collecting your weapon. These 3 items are the precursor to Mega Man's robotic canine Rush, who made his debut in Mega Man 3. But here in Mega Man 2, the items that Dr. Light gave you are just called items 1, 2, and 3. Sounds convenient, especially to make it less confusing. With that much weapons you have equipped, and the awesome gameplay, music, artworks, graphics, etc., then you have what you need to take down Dr. Wily in this second installment of the Mega Man series. Bottom line, Mega Man 2 for the NES. I strongly recommend picking this game up. Actually, no. I don't strongly recommend you pick up Mega Man 2. I beg you to pick up Mega Man 2. Because really, you'd be missing out on this awesome video game. And really, it's like a $5 to $10, or however they charge this game, well spent. So, for that, I give this game a perfect score of 10 out of 10. Yep, that's right. So, now that I'm done reviewing this game, it is time to change gears. Because now, it's time to review Mega Man 3. Now, while Mega Man 2 was my personal favorite game out of the whole Mega Man series, this game actually comes close to that, and it's another fan favorite out of all the Mega Man fans. So, let's play this game as well. For this third installment, Capcom really put a lot of effort to keep the series fresh. First off, they added a little more to the gameplay. While it's still the very basic run-and-shoot game out of the whole Mega Man series, they did put something new in this game. For the first time, they gave Mega Man the feature to use the power slide. Now that's pretty cool if I do say so myself. It's pretty much good for sliding into some more narrow areas, to either grab an item, or to get through a certain part of a level. Which is good because without the power slide, then there's no way you can finish the level before you approach the Robot Master. Personally, I kinda use the power slide pretty often in this game, as well as the other Mega Man games that use the slide. Also, this game marks the very first appearance of Mega Man's robotic canine, Rush. Now, I mentioned before when I was going over Mega Man 2, that the 3 special items that Dr. Light gives you are the precursor to Rush. Now that is very true. First of all, you get the Rush Coil, which is where you jump on his back and he springs you up higher to the level. Once you defeat more of the Robot Masters, then you can get the Rush Jet. Now, this is the only Mega Man game in which the Rush Jet can be properly moved into any direction on the screen. It's a great item for Mega Man to have, and very helpful, especially in this part where you need the Rush Jet in order to advance. And last, you have the Rush Marine, which can only be used underwater. There's really not much in this game in which you really need to use the Rush Jet, but it's alright. And yeah, Rush is a very helpful canine in this game, and with that much items equipped inside of him, well then, he's what I would call man's best friend. But one of the most worthy mentions of this game is that it marks the official debut of Proto Man. He appears in 4 of the different levels of the game. It's in the middle of the level where you would hear a whistle, and then BAM! Proto Man shows up. His attack pattern is pretty much the same. All he does is shoot his gun, while jumping up and down. So, pretty much all you gotta do is just shoot from behind, and you should be able to get past him. Once you finish fighting him, then he leaves until the next time you encounter him. Capcom really did try to increase the challenge for this Mega Man game. For one thing, you still fight 8 Robot Masters, but once you defeat all 8 of them, then you would think it's time to go through Dr. Wily's castle, right? Wrong! Because it turns out that you also gotta replay 4 of the stages that you already went through in this game, each with 2 Robot Masters from Mega Man 2, who fight inside a giant mechanical robot machine. And, like with any other Robot Master, you gotta find their weakness and you should defeat them. Once you go through all 4 of these stages, then that's when you finally get to go through Dr. Wily's castle. It's quite short and it doesn't take me that long to get to the end of the Wily's castle. However, this time around, you get to fight Dr. Wily twice. Yeah, that's right, twice. And throughout the 2 times you fight him, then you get 2 skulls appearing on the map screen. Holy dang! Turns out that Capcom really went all out on keeping the Mega Man series fresh. Bottom line, while I did mention that Mega Man 2 is my personal favorite game out of the whole Mega Man series, Mega Man 3 actually comes to a close second. So, for that, I'm going to give this game a score of 9.5 out of 10. Yep, that's right. Like I said before, Capcom really put a lot of extra effort into making this a good part of the Mega Man series. And that is really saying something, because after Mega Man 3, well, the series was just starting to get stale. But that's something that I will talk about in my next review.